From Washington, D.C., this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Hena Zuberi. Our top story tonight. The United States has uncovered a plot to assassinate an American citizen in New York who was campaigning for the creation of a separate Sikh state in India. The Indian-born accused Nikhil Gupta faces charges of murder for hire in connection with this conspiracy. In June, Czech authorities arrested Gupta in accordance with the bilateral extradition treaty between the U.S. and the Czech Republic. According to the U.S. Department of Justice, Gupta was allegedly acting on the instructions of an Indian intelligence officer. The indictment strongly suggests the assassination plan was orchestrated from India. Court documents do not reveal the identity of the intended victim. CNN reports indicates the target was Gurpatwant Singh Punnan, a lawyer who heads the New York-based Sikhs for Justice. Punnan is an outspoken critic of the Indian government and has advocated for Sikhs' right to self-determination. Gupta now faces serious charges of murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire, each carrying a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. The investigation into this case is being conducted jointly by the Drug Enforcement Administration's New York Division and the FBI's Counterintelligence Division. At least 44 Palestinian journalists have been detained in Israeli prisons. 29 of them were arrested after October 7th. The Palestinian Journalists Syndicate says Israeli occupation forces released 12 detained journalists after serving various terms, but 29 journalists remain in prison. The syndicate released the names of 70 journalists and media workers killed in the Israeli bombardment of Gaza since October 7th. Israeli newspaper Haaretz is blasting Israel's warm welcome of Elon Musk, owner of the social media platform X. In a post on X, Esther Solomon called Musk a blatant anti-Semite and publisher of anti-Semitism. Elon Musk should be persona non grata in Israel, she said. Musk's visit to Israel, coupled with the extravagant reception he received, has raised eyebrows, giving his role in what many Israelis say is his decimation of misinformation related to the October 7th attack. Adding to the controversy, Musk has engaged with and promoted anti-Semitic conspiracy theories aligned with far-right ideologies. This is not the first time Israeli leaders, notably Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have shown unwavering support for Musk. Netanyahu's earlier visit to Tesla headquarters and defense of Musk against allegations of anti-Semitism raised questions about the extent of their relationship. Many now question the motives behind Israel's embrace of Musk amid a rise in anti-Semitism across the world. In the first 4 days of the ongoing humanitarian pause, Israel released 150 Palestinians, including 117 children and 33 women. Hamas, in exchange, released 69 prisoners, including 51 Israelis and 18 from other nations. However, Israel arrested at least 133 Palestinians from East Jerusalem and the West Bank during the same period. The practice of arresting Palestinians in the occupied territory continues despite the ceasefire. Palestinian prisoner associations say it is part of Israel's policy to imprison as many Palestinians as possible. They say that it aims to suppress resistance, and it will continue as long as the occupation persists. Since October 7, more than 3,000 arrests have been recorded in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. Many released prisoners are also often rearrested by Israel in the following months. Concerns about conditions in Israeli prisons, including severe beatings and medical neglect, have also been raised. Dozens of people captured in 2011 Israel-Hamas prisoner exchange were rearrested and had their sentences reinstated. Al Jazeera reports Israeli gunboats shelled the coast of Khan Yunis in southern Gaza on Wednesday, despite the ongoing halt in fighting. Israeli forces stormed the city of Jenin in occupied West Bank Tuesday evening. The West Bank is not ruled by Hamas. The army, accompanied by bulldozers, entered the city from several points, raided several neighborhoods, and deployed snipers on rooftops. Palestinian news agency Wafa reports the Israeli army has imposed a siege on Janine camp. Israeli forces have shot dead 2 Palestinian children, according to the health ministry. The army also arrested 2 young men from inside a vehicle. Military bulldozers have demolished several civilian properties. Armed clashes took place between the Israeli army and Palestinians in Cinema Square in Janine. Social media activists shared footage showing Israeli military vehicles and gunfire. Tensions have been high across the West Bank since fighting broke out October 7 between Palestinian groups and Israeli forces in Gaza. A total of 242 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces in the West Bank, as well as more than 2,850 injured, according to the West Bank-based Palestine Health Ministry. A 23-year-old Muslim woman was targeted in a suspected hate crime earlier this month on a New York City subway. The accused assailant, Greg Kutzin, a 33-year-old Manhattan-based finance director, has been charged with multiple hate crimes, including assault and robbery. Charges were filed after a video of the attack went viral. The Yemeni-American victim was en route to a Palestine rally November 17th, when the attacker called her, quote, a terrorist, and snatched and damaged her Palestinian flag. She began recording the incident on her phone, capturing the moment when the man swiped at her. The victim initially approached a police officer after the incident. However, her claims were dismissed until the video went viral, prompting her to make an official report. Kutzin, who pleaded not guilty to all charges, was released on his own recognition. His employer, Stone X Group, acknowledged the incident but did not specify whether any action would be taken. The New York Police Department has not commented on the initial officer's response to the victim's report. Turkey's Erdogan calls Netanyahu butcher of Gaza. Details after the break. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan on Wednesday branded Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu the butcher of Gaza and accused him of spawning anti-Semitism. In nationally televised remarks, he said, Netanyahu has already written his name in history as the butcher of Gaza. He added Netanyahu is endangering the security of all Jews in the world by supporting anti-Semitism with the murders he committed in Gaza. UN officials are warning that the spread of disease could soon begin killing more Palestinians than Israel's bombs and raids. The brief humanitarian pause between Israel and Hamas has so far failed to result in the delivery of sufficient aid in Gaza. Israel has cut off deliveries of fuel, water, food, and electricity access to Gaza. Humanitarian groups have warned Israel's total blockade of Gaza has fueled outbreaks of gastrointestinal illnesses as sanitation and water treatment services are halted. The World Health Organization has recorded more than 44,000 cases of diarrhea and 70,000 acute respiratory infections in Gaza since Israel began bombarding the enclave October 7. Cases of gastrointestinal illnesses for those aged 5 and older have risen to more than 100 times the normal levels earlier this month. WHO spokesperson Margaret Harris says that the sick will not get any help. On social media, the UN agency reiterated its call for a permanent negotiated ceasefire and sustained aid access in Gaza to allow health officials to rebuild the medical system. U.S. Representative Rashida Tlaib condemned U.S. lawmakers' refusal to, quote, view Palestinians as equal human beings who deserve the same rights, freedom, and human dignity. Tlaib called for the release of all hostages and political prisoners currently being held in Israel and Gaza. Her statement came after the U.S. House passed a resolution demanding Hamas immediately free hostages taken during its October 7th attack. Tlaib, who voted for the resolution, criticized the failure of many of her colleagues to urge Israel to release jailed Palestinians held without charge or trial. The UN is urging South Sudan to regain public trust to ensure successful elections in December 2024. The Secretary General's Special Representative for South Sudan, Nicholas Haysom, asked the African nations leaders to enhance gender and political representation. He asked for restructuring of key government bodies such as the Political Parties Council, National Elections Commission, and National Constitutional Review Commission. Haysom stressed these reforms would bolster public support and confidence as South Sudan emerges from a tumultuous period of conflict. He also called for a code of conduct agreement amongst political parties to create a level playing field, highlighting the importance of fair and transparent elections. Additionally, Haysom urged South Sudan to address its humanitarian crisis, which has hindered assistance due to attacks on aid workers and funding shortages. The planned public trial of former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has been unexpectedly delayed. Security concerns led to the postponement. The trial was originally supposed to deal with allegations of Khan leaking state secrets. The deputy chairman of Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf (PTI) party is a co-defendant in the case. Khan's indictment, which is linked to his removal from office in 2022, could carry the death penalty. Originally, the trial was to take place inside the prison where Khan and PTI Vice Chairman Shah Mahmood Qureshi were detained. However, after a recent ruling by the Islamabad High Court declaring this arrangement illegal, a public trial was ordered. Security threats prompted Khan's lawyer to ask for the trial to be postponed, citing concerns for his life. The trial is now scheduled to begin on Friday on prison grounds, but it will be open to the media and the public. PTI strongly condemned what it considers false and frivolous allegations and baseless and absurd charges against its leader. That's all from our Washington, D.C. studios tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for the latest updates. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV or visit muslimnetwork.tv. Assalamu alaikum and good night.